So you might be finding yourself, are you having a demanding career, which I have to say, about 99% of my clients have, essentially every single one of them, have demanding careers, and they're still wanting to balance it with their personal life. Because let's be honest, we love our careers, we love the challenge professionally, and we also love to spend that time doing whatever hobbies or time with loved ones, etc., so that we can recharge and be re-energized and come back to work being excited, but also, to bring our best selves to work. So let's dive into it today, because in this video, I'm going to share with you some actionable strategies to help you manage your time and create that healthier work-life balance so that you can prevent burnout. Now, if this is the first time you're here, hi and welcome. I'm Kim Raaijmakers. I'm the founder of the Leadership Edge Academy, and I have had 18 plus years of experience in different roles within corporate, including leadership roles. So I understand the struggles that have been able to help over the last 3.5 years, countless women leaders just like you achieve a more work-life harmony and avoiding that burnout. So let's turn your exhausted, oh my God, I cannot switch off, into more balance and even more effective leadership. And some of the really specific mistakes, and maybe you're making one of these yourself as well, but what I hear a lot from my clients is things like, well, I find it really hard to switch off when I'm at home from my work, or how often that their work spills over into their personal time. And so what's happening here is one of those mistakes is that they just don't have really clear boundaries. As one of my clients, when we started working together, she would get up, and because she also worked from home, it meant, hey, before I even started breakfast, I've started working on my emails and checking my calendar, and I'm already getting things set up. And then, oh, right, I'm supposed to have breakfast, have coffee and breakfast. And her day has already started essentially from the moment that she stood up and looked at her laptop. And then again, it didn't end until very late at night. Now, you might be saying, well, I don't work from home, but I go into the office, right? And how often are you finding yourself sitting on the couch with your laptop, or even still scrolling through your emails on your phone in the evenings? Probably more than you or I would like to admit. Another mistake that I'm seeing often, or that you might also be making, is that you're overcommitting to your work. So in that sense, you are taking the time that you'd rather take for yourself or your family or for your hobbies, but you are assigning it to your work because, hey, it needs to get done and the workload is really overwhelming, but this is just a phase. Once I get past this quarter, it's going to be better than the next quarter. How many quarters have you been telling yourself that? Now, the third mistake I want to share is that constant feeling of like you're never quite there. You haven't quite gotten rested. You're always stressed because you're meeting deadlines that just seem to never end. You're constantly feeling burnt out, but you can't catch a break because guess what? Hey, yeah, I thought I could rest in the next quarter, except now the next quarter has started and we've got new targets, we've got new issues coming up. I've got to keep firefighting in the daily operational side because things aren't quite working the way they should. So guess what suffers, or what's the first thing to kind of be pushed off the side is probably that time for yourself and the time that you need to recuperate. Now, what is that leading to? That's likely leading to you feeling like you're overwhelmed and exhausted in the sense that, hey, I have got so much work. I don't even know when I can stop. And I remember saying this so many times when I was in corporate, and I'd come home to my husband and we had very different roles. So my husband was much more in production. So when he left, his work would be taken over by a colleague, which meant there was never anything really that was left unfinished by the end of the day. And the next day, he would pick up from where his colleagues had finished. But the work that we do, the work that you are in as a leader, is that work doesn't just stop. It doesn't stop at 5 o'clock. It doesn't get picked up by somebody else. It just comes with you. So you will find yourself, or you may find yourself feeling like, oh my God, this work, no matter how much I get done on my to-do list, the to-do list just multiplies by the end of the day. And you keep seeing actions from today being shifted to tomorrow, and those will likely get shifted again to next week. What you also might find is that at times your personal life is going to start suffering because those relationships at home are going to get strained because you might find it really difficult to switch off from work at home, but you also might just not have the attention or be present while you're at home. Even if you are physically there, your mind is still at your work. So like I shared, I've been there. So balancing a demanding career and a personal life, yes, it is tough. It is not easy. And we can do it. One of those things that I felt during my corporate journey, and I remember having a conversation with a mentor who expressed concern at the time that I was heading for burnout because I was doing things on so many different fronts. Yes, I was working towards my next promotion. I was working on my MBA. I was doing a number of different professional development journeys and courses at my employers, and it was just piling up and up and up. And it was like, oh my God, is that the feeling? And it's like if you were to imagine that you were juggling all kinds of balls in the air, right? If you're juggling all those balls in the air and you're only concentrated on one, the others are going to fall down. The key is, in order to figure out how to deal with all of those balls that you're keeping in the air, the answer isn't to make sure that no ball drops. The answer is to figure out which of the balls that you can take out of that equation, or you can let drop just for a little while so that you can get the rest of those balls dealt with, and then you pick it back up again. So you want to figure out the pieces of the puzzle, let's put it that way, of between your work and your personal, that can take a back seat just for a period of time in order to deal with some other things. And then you can pick that piece back up. Now, inside the Leadership Edge formula, which is what all of my programs and what all the work within the Leadership Edge Academy is based on, a key component that we talk about and we train and we teach our clients is about managing your energy. And we do this with several different strategies. So as one of my clients experienced, she was able to regain control over her time and over her work life and over her personal life by setting more clear boundaries and prioritizing some time for herself and to take care of her personal needs, her own energy needs, her own having the time to do her hobbies, because that not only allowed her to feel better, but also saw a significant improvement both in the work, in terms of her productivity, in terms of her efficiency, but also in terms of her strategic decision-making and her innovativeness. But it also saw an increase and improvement in her relationships, both professionally as well as personally. Now, I want to share with you 3 strategies today so that you can begin implementing them right now, and you're going to be able to find yourself creating space. Let's take back to the juggling of the balls. You're going to know which balls do I need to put aside right now, or which balls can I allow to drop right now, and which ones do I really need to keep in the air by myself. So let's start with the first one. And the first one is all about identifying your own unique abilities so that you can leverage your strengths and manage your workload more efficiently. Now, how do you do this, right? Well, let's just start. First of all, think of the things that you are really good at. And if you don't know, ask people in your surroundings. Ask them, hey, what are the things that I do really well? Or what ability do I have that is better than average, or better than everyone else? Because that's going to start allowing you to at least get the insight as to the areas that you do excel in and make those more of a priority. Now, think of it like your unique abilities are your superpowers. right? So you want to figure out what makes you superwoman. And by understanding what the superpowers are, you are also going to understand, we're going to keep on this Superman metaphor here, what is the kryptonite? Because the kryptonite is where, when you are not acting in your superpowers, that is going to be your kryptonite. That's where it's sucking energy from you. So when you focus on what you're doing, what you can do best, you achieve more with a lot less effort and less stress. Now let's talk about the second one. And this is around creating growth strategies, where you want to create growth strategies that are aligned both with your career goals, but also with your personal life balance. Now, I know that I haven't really talked a lot about the work-life balance or integration in my videos or my content, but this is a key conversation that comes up quite often within the Leadership Accelerator and within my women's leadership community, because we find ourselves that all these women are like super high performing, very ambitious women, and super competent. Like, they are getting results, they are getting the achievements, and yet they are at times finding themselves like, how do I manage all of that I need to do and still grow in my own leadership capabilities, still be able to grow into that next level? Well, the first part of this is to really start with, I do believe in big goals. I'll put that caveat up front, but you also want to set, for in the shorter term, some realistic and achievable goals for both your professional and your personal life. Now, I'm going to say a PS here. At the very beginning of the year in January, all of my Leadership Accelerator clients, we had a VIP day to start setting goals, to do a goal setting workshop. So if something of like that is of interest, then drop me goals, because I have something for you. Now, the second part of this, in terms of creating your growth strategy, is you want to take those realistic, achievable goals. And again, I'm making a caveat here, right? You also need to have those big goals as well. But just for right now, let's focus on the next 60 to 90 days. You want to develop a step-by-step plan that allows you to reach the goals, and including time for yourself. You're going to need time to reflect. You want to have time with family or friends, or just on your own, so that you can get energized and that you can and you have the brain space in order to keep growing. Now, when you create this type of growth plan, so I've had, like I said, in January, my clients in Leadership Accelerator, we did a half a day workshop all on setting out your goals for 2024. And that included both professional as well as personal goals in it. And what I've seen within the accelerator with all of these clients is that they are knocking these goals and achieving them one by one by one, and at a faster pace than they expected. So they are continuously celebrating their wins and always excited when, hey, guess what? I achieved another one of these goals. I didn't even think I could at the beginning of the year. And because I created this plan for myself, now I know what to do. I have the strategies, and I can go out and execute this. So again, step 2 is about creating your growth strategies. Now, number 3, let's talk about personal branding and creating a leadership action plan. Now, you need to figure out, what do you stand for? So I have a personal brand, and you have a personal brand. Everybody around you has a personal brand. Some of you actively manage your personal brand. Many of you don't. If you are of the mind of, if I work hard enough, if I deliver my results, that will be enough for people to recognize my brilliance, then I can tell you right now, you are not actively managing your personal brand, because it's who's to say that someone else is going to see those results and attribute them to yourself. Likely, it is not going to happen. So what you want to do is you want to be more proactive, and you want to start promoting yourself and building that personal brand. And you want to create an action plan or a leadership action plan on how you can maintain that visibility and showcase your effectiveness without burning out. Because yes, you still need to make your achievements, and it is definitely possible to do that while increasing your visibility and increasing your own effectiveness. So how can you do that? Well, it is all about, when it comes to your personal brand, it's around knowing your strengths and your unique value. Because when you know that, that is also what you can start, what's the word? That is also what you can start sharing and promoting throughout the organization. Yes, it will show in your achievements and your results. And you want to be specific about this as well when you're talking to other people about, hey, you know what? This is the result, and this is what led to it, and this is my part in it. Because that's going to help you start standing out and getting recognition. Because at the end of the day, when we talk about personal brand and your personal brand, we want to make sure that when you are not in the room, that people are talking about you in the way that you want them to, that they are talking about your strengths, your value, your achievements, your results, what your ambitions are, what you are capable of. You want to know what they're saying, and you will have already placed the foundation of that into your organization by proactively promoting it yourself. Now, I will give you a little bit of a hint here. If this is something that you're struggling with, don't worry. I have created a fantastic resource called the Boardroom Whisperer Checklist, and there is a training that is attached that is coming with that in the next day or two. So if that's something that you're interested in, just drop me the word boardroom, either my DMs or in the comments below, and I will make sure to get that to you, because it is a resource that is going to help you to also start to create and develop that personal brand throughout the organization. Now, when we talk about that leadership action plan, what it should also do is also consider around things like, well, what tasks am I delegating? Because hey, we talked about in step number 1 about your unique ability. What are you fantastic about? Well, if you're not fantastic at some things, or these are not your core abilities, then find a way to delegate it. You need to start delegating responsibilities and tasks. You also can start, part of that action plan is include, what kind of boundaries do you need to set? What boundaries around your work? What boundaries around your personal? What expectations with your teams, with your leaders, with your clients possibly, are needed to be set that have not been done so far? So that is step number 3, personal branding and your leadership action plan. Now, you might have guessed it. If not, I've got you covered. If you're going like, okay, Kim, like, makes sense, but I don't know how to do all of this by myself. Here's an invitation that I want to share with you, that if you are ready to transform your work life, like out of balance, into more balance, more integration, whatever you want to call it, and prevent you from burning out, then I'm going to invite you to my From Strength to Strategy workshop. Now, this workshop is going to be in person this Friday, so Friday, June 28th. So we've got 2-3 days yet to enroll, or it will be online next Tuesday and Wednesday. And what we do in this workshop is actually to address these 3 points exactly that I've covered today. So we're going to talk about your unique abilities. What are your growth strategies? How to build your personal brand, as well as developing that leadership action plan. Here's the caveat, because like I said, I've worked with so many clients of like, okay, well, it sounds fantastic. I'll do it next quarter when I have some time. Next quarter rolls around, and by the end of the quarter, you're like, where did the time go? I still didn't get it done. Now, we have the advantage, of course, summer is coming up. Fantastic time to get started with this. So I invite you to both enroll, of course, in the workshop, but also don't wait until you really are experiencing or in the midst of a burnout where it takes up its toll both on your health as well as your career. So sign up today, get inside of that workshop so that you can start leading both for yourself a balanced and more fulfilling life, but also where you have the energy to excel at work and that you can still enjoy your personal life. So spots are limited. There are only a few seats left, especially for Friday because it is in person. I'm keeping that as a very intimate environment. And also let you in a little secret. It's a full day workshop with included. What we're going to be doing is also a high tea. So not only do you get to go through your figuring out your unique ability, your growth strategies, your leadership action plan, how to start promoting yourself and your personal brand, but you will also get an amazing opportunity to become part of the community and take the time over some fabulous little bites of in a high tea setting. So how fabulous is that? I am so super excited. I know my clients, because it is their VIP day, are also extremely excited about that as well. So that is an invitation to you. If you're finding yourself, like I said at the very beginning, you're telling yourself, oh my goodness, like I cannot find it. I just find it really difficult to switch off from work when I get home, or your work continues to spill over into your personal time. And it's like, well, that's just the way it is. I'm going to invite you, by coming to this workshop, that there is definitely a different way. I've achieved it, but I've also helped over 70 plus women leaders achieve it over the last 3.5 years. So I definitely know that it's possible for you too. So again, if you're interested in that, just comment below or DM me strengths, and we will have a conversation around that workshop and get you in for Friday. Thanks for listening. If you've got any questions, as always, you can drop them in the comments below or DM me, and I will